Alrighty, welcome to the 132nd edition of the MMA Circus here on BloodyElbow.com. My name is Nick Baldwin. He is Andrew the Clown Kid Lawrence, and as always, we are your hosts for today. Andrew, we're doing this live now, and you made it. The time we have set is 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. You made it here 2 minutes ago, right on time. How's it going?
I feel fantastic. I feel like I'm 1 for 1. I'm 2 for 2 actually now. This is the second show.
2 for 2 just because you're not late and everything has gone well so far?
On time, everything's working perfectly. It's all coming fantastic right now, I think.
The thing I don't like though is that I've been waiting for 20 minutes and doing the prep, getting the dumb questions ready, getting gets it doesn't get it ready, getting our topics ready, and waiting. And sometimes we split the duties. Sometimes you grab dumb questions, sometimes you set up, whatever else.
I don't like those times.
You don't like splitting it. It's too much work for you. That's why you almost quit the show.
Well, it's a lot of work just to be like the personality of the show. Do you know what I mean, Nicholas? Oh, you really don't, but
because I'm not the personality.
Yeah, that's kind of what we're saying. So yeah. I have to bring me. That's a lot of energy. It takes a lot to get up for this. I got to sit down. I have to have water ready. I have to plug in the microphone. Like, this doesn't just happen. I have to get here physically. Actually, the trains ran late. But your boy made a crafty move, actually. I take a nap on the train regularly. This happens. I've become an old man. I am that old guy who falls asleep on the train. And just by dumb luck, I just woke up in the middle of a stop, heard the announcement that said, hey, after this, we're running on a completely different route than going on to my house because of some fight that happened on a train in front of us. And I go, I would have been fucked if I had stayed on that train. No way I make it to the show. But luckily for you guys, I am a crafty New York City subway rider, despite my...
You're a veteran.
Despite being sleeping, woke up, heard the announcement, without hesitation, interpreted it correctly, got off the train right before the door shut. Come on.
Anytime you hear something about a fight, you wake up.
Oh, exactly. I'm just like primed to it. Like if 3 blocks down, some brothers get into a fisticuffs on the kitchen table over the last pork chop, I'm waking up.
So what's the Brooklyn weather like right now?
Humid as fuck, Nicholas. It is serious.
Summer?
Oh, it's the Indianest of summers, man. It's crazy, bro. Yeah, it's truly become, instead of a Native American summer, it is an Indian summer. It is from the nation of India. It's that hot out. It's been like 80 degrees. Like dirt. Okay, so when I went to get my lunch today, it hit 90, like in the direct sun. It was 90 degrees while I was walking. Insane. It's global warming's real, brother.
I'm not in Winnipeg.
How you guys doing? Snowstorm? Have you got your first snow of the season yet?
No, I haven't. Edmonton, Edmonton, it snowed there the other day, I heard.
It snowed in Edmonton? Canada's fucked, bro. As soon as shit goes haywire, you guys are the most fucked people in the world. Come on. Like when civilization collapses, you cannot sustain yourself in the wilderness around you.
No, we do though. That's the thing. We're actually the strongest people alive. You don't realize it because we're the ones building the igloos. We're killing our own food and stocking up like the bears over winter. We're going on hibernation.
What percentage of the Winnipeg population dies if there isn't just like power for heating?
Say that.
Like if they don't have power, like if like the power system goes out, so like people don't have heating. Like, how quickly do they die? And what percentage that first winter? I'm saying like 70% of Winnipeg dies that first winter.
Honestly, you're probably
a couple dudes are going to figure out fires, but then there's going to be a wood shortage after like 2 days. They're going to break down houses. People are going to be gutting places. It's going to get crazy.
Yeah, then we're going to have to, sacrifice people.
How many people are in Winnipeg? We figured this out. We've talked about this. I think there's like 600,000, 900,000, something like that.
700.
Okay. So that's a shit ton of people, like, to keep warm for a whole winter. Yeah. There's going to be a mass purge. There's going to be a purge.
I saw something about the purge today. That's so funny that you just mentioned it. I think on Twitter or something.
It's in the people's consciousness right now. All this shit with Trump, it's going on in people's consciousness. We got to talk about MMA soon, but yeah.
We do, but the weather is more important. I saw something about the purge.
What is the weather like that? You haven't told me.
Oh, yes. I guess I didn't even cover that. Right now, we're sitting at, let's see. Crap, I just got my phone password wrong. 62 degrees Fahrenheit. 62. But the thing with that,
That's
it
good.
feels a lot of it sounds good, but it feels a lot colder than that. I just went up
wet,
there, you know, I
rainy?
just checked a minute ago, and I was shocked that it's 17 degrees Celsius. Because that, you know, for October, that's pretty nice. It does not feel all that. I mean, this morning was freezing. It was really cold. And by freezing, I mean almost freezing, literally. You know, I mean, it's a little sunny, but man, it's Winnipeg winter weather is coming.
It is.
Very fast.
And no, genuinely, in 3 weeks, you have winter.
We do. It absolutely. It has snowed on Halloween in past years.
All right, get out the snowsuit. Do you wear a full snowsuit? I would.
Snowsuit? Well,
do you own a snowsuit that you could fit in right now?
Well, I have a parka and I don't have ski pants. I've had ski pants in the past, so
you just rock jeans. You're like, fuck it, I'm too hard for it now.
Yeah.
I did the same thing when I was a kid. Yeah, I was like, no, but like now I understand the real value of snow pants. But I was gonna say you should dress up in your snow outfit the first time it snows
for the show.
In the show. Yeah, show people what you're rocking.
Idea. That's a great idea.
I really think it's a good fashion move. I'll wear what I wear during that. You tell me ahead of time. I'll wear what I wear.
Yeah, you're wearing, you know, bathing suit and flip-flops and Indian summer 9 degrees. No. But what I was going to say with the purge, I do want to say this. I saw someone, why wouldn't you just go on vacation? Why wouldn't you never plan your vacation around the purge?
I'm assuming that the purge was happening worldwide, that there's worldwide purge.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, you can't just be going to the airport 3 days before the purge. People are going to be like, what the fuck talking about purge? We ain't leaving. No one leaves. You know?
I guess maybe they want to get that Mars, you know, trip to Mars. Maybe they can
How fucked up would it be if just some crazy asshole, like, doesn't land your plane and then the purge starts while he's in the air and he's slaughtering people on the plane while he's the only one who could pilot it home?
That would not be good for lack of...
That's actually a really good idea for a purge sequel.
Well, there's already been 3, but
I think I brought a new twist to the game.
So yeah, that, you know what? It's so, the purge. All 3 of them seem so stale. They're all the same. Yeah. Random guy goes in the house and ends up killing people. Blah blah blah.
I've never seen them all. Never seen them.
I have.
This is the one cultural thing that you've seen that I'm not aware of. The only time that in our relationship that's ever happened.
No, but that is a good idea. That's, you know, have people go vacation trying to avoid the purge, and then the purge happens on.
See, Nicholas, this is why you're a survivor. You'd be the travel agent in the purge who like smuggles people out a few days beforehand. That'd be your character.
And this is why you're super
a lucrative
creative
business.
And think of all business ideas, because you think
there it is.
If that works.
Wonderful. What are we talking about in MMA?
Well, there's actually a little bit going on. Usually, I feel like I always say, all right, Andrew, we don't have much to talk about. There's nothing going on. And then we still do a 2-hour show. So it sort of contradicts itself. But we do have quite a bit to talk about. There's a lot going on. We'll start with UFC 216. This past weekend, we had the pay-per-view card from Las Vegas, Nevada, the T-Mobile Arena. This past Saturday night. And in the main event, Tony Ferguson claimed the interim lightweight championship with a 3rd-round submission win over Kevin, the Motown Phenom Lee. Pretty fun fight. It didn't win fight of the night. It was actually Bobby Green versus Lando Venado, which ended in a draw that took home that fight of the night honors. But still entertaining while it lasted. Kevin Lee started really good. Well, it was kind of back and forth early in the first round.
He stayed pretty good. I thought it seemed like Kevin Lee was winning the fight until he lost the fight.
Pretty much, yeah. Lee dominated the end of the round 1. Round 2, sort of back and forth, if I recall correctly. But Ferguson, you know, he just sort of he got something. He got Lee locked up, and Lee just couldn't escape because Ferguson's so crafty. But
you know what's interesting about it, real quick, because we're talking about the finish, and then we'll move on. Kevin Lee said that it was the elbows and showed his sunglasses in the post-fight press conference, and his whole shit was so swollen up. You were like, oh, God, you might have like orbital damage. You might have breaks in it. And then you go back and you watch him before he sinks up that triangle. Tony Ferguson's jiu-jitsu game is just like so mixed martial arts based because it's really about fucking dudes up in the guard. It's not about looking for position and submission. It's about laying damage and then using the opportunity of people like reacting to that damage to get a submission. And that's what I think happened here.
The thing with this fight, well, actually, one thing about those elbows, I was watching it. I'd have to go back, but I thought they were illegal. I thought they were right to the top of the head.
I thought they were A-okay the whole time. Yeah, all those. Right. You know me, though. Yo, dog, you're in a fight. You're on top of a guy, and that guy's not allowed to hit you in the back of the head. If some dude in a fight, if we're in a fight, and you knock me down, and you're on top of me trying to punch me in the head like some crazed gorilla, I'm going to elbow the fuck out of the back of your head, Nicholas. Like, let's be real.
Anyways, sort of what I took away the most from this fight is that Tony Ferguson is still great. He's very strange. He's funky. He's really good on the ground, even on the feet. But I think I'm a bit more confident McGregor would beat him than I was on Friday.
You're more confident that Conor McGregor is going to beat Tony Ferguson. I kind of get where you're coming from here. Yeah, I do.
I think Nicholas, Ferguson is a little too sloppy on the feet. I think McGregor's too tight on the feet. He can, get land combinations. Ferguson's defense
he finds places to land the left, and it's with consequence in a lot of it. And I know that Tony Ferguson has a great cheer. Yeah, of course he did.
Kevin Lee isn't.
But Tony Ferguson's taken more damage in a fight that he's won than that.
Sure.
Tony's that weird freak, dog.
Yes,
Tony could beat Conor. He has a chance.
He could. Very, very close fight, like 51-49 or whatever you want to say. But Kevin Lee tagged Tony Ferguson multiple times and nearly had him out of there. If Kevin Lee can nearly finish Tony Ferguson with strikes, I'm thinking Conor McGregor probably can too. That said, Tony Ferguson has a great chin.
Where in that fight do you think Kevin Lee almost put out T. Ferguson?
End of the round one. I think Ferg was saved by the bell.
Yeah, by position more than like chin. I get what you're saying. Yeah, definitely.
And I guess McGregor wouldn't hop on him necessarily, but
he doesn't have that kind of ground game. He doesn't work that kind of control.
No, but nonetheless, McGregor hits a lot harder than Lee. Is the more technical striker, the better striker overall. If Lee can drop Ferguson, Conor McGregor certainly can.
You think back on Conor McGregor's fights, and really that Eddie Alvarez fight opened my eyes to like that he's just better than a lot of these dudes.
Yep. And there was a time when we wanted to think Conor McGregor wasn't as good because A, people didn't like him, or B, he accomplished already too much than he deserved. He was given the Jose Aldo fight.
He's stupidly good.
He's really good.
He's really good. That's the biggest problem with the Conor McGregor thing. He's undeniably kind of awesome. Imagine, think about him fighting Frankie Edgar. Now, in hindsight, you realize that he would have got pieced the fuck apart. At least that's my opinion.
You mean Edgar would have?
Yeah, probably by Conor McGregor, right? Isn't that a crazy thing to think about?
Yeah. Mendez was able to take McGregor down. It's a closer fight, but today McGregor knocks Edgar out.
Knocks out Edgar. Yeah, it's crazy to think about. So yeah, but do you want that fight? Are you interested in seeing Tony Ferguson fight Conor McGregor?
A lot more interested than I am McGregor Diaz 3. I'm okay with the trilogy. I'm okay with the trilogy. I'll watch it.
Just because I want to see Conor McGregor fight, period. It's must watch. If you're not excited about Conor McGregor fighting, why are you involved in combat sports? Get the fuck out of here.
Because we've seen Diaz beat McGregor and come very close to beating McGregor. Two back-to-back fights, really close. Well, the first one actually wasn't, but in favor of McGregor, the second one was. That could make Diaz simply because of how he fights, his cardio, his grinding style, his get in your face, and just his Diaz sort of nature. He could be one of McGregor's toughest tests ever. Even in going in the future, counting McGregor's future fights.
It's funny. It's like when personality hits fighting. But I'm from the old school. I'm down with waiting on the trilogy fight and having T-Ferg fight him. Yep. I think that makes a lot more sense. Let fights marinate, for fuck's sake, people. The UFC used to get it. Think about the amount of time between some of the other bigger trilogies, even fucking Tito and Shamrock. There's time in between those fights. Chuck Liddell and fucking Tito. The fights. You don't have to just one after another after another. Think about how much was killed in fucking Cain Velasquez fighting each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Junior Dos Santos and Cain Velasquez fighting each other. They fought like back to back in a trilogy. That could have been spaced out and like made to be a much bigger and better thing, I think.
Yeah. I mean, the UFC, the thing with that is the UFC is so concerned about losing these big super fights because we have given them so much flack. I mean, GSP Anderson by now should have happened. Should have happened years ago. And they lost that. They lost, I mean, there was the infamous tweet from Lorenzo saying, you know, boxing doesn't do super fights, or they lose super fights. We'll do this, this, and this. We do super fights, and it's sort of hypocritical in hindsight, where they're so concerned now about losing these super fights that they make them not even super anymore.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But nonetheless.
A super fight, like, let's get it straight. Like, a super fight used to mean something, and it was when two champions from different divisions fought each other. So, like,
now
that
it's a fight that makes a hell of a lot of money.
It's a stupid word now.
That's why at least I like that we use super fight and money fight.
But ultimately, are you happier that Tony Ferguson won this fight, or did you want to see like Kevin Lee become?
No, I mean, I didn't really care. I still think Kevin Lee, nonetheless. I mean, I think Kevin Lee, he's 24, 25. I think he's going to fight for the title again. I think he'll be right up there for a long time.
I think he's got a name coming out of this fight, right? He's got a great name.
Maybe. I mean, I think eventually
like people want to see the next fight for Kevin Lee for sure. I think.
Do they? Maybe.
I don't know.
You do the hardcore fans,
yeah, and that's enough of a rub, right? You got your guy.
The hardcore fans wanted to see him fight anyways. You know, after Chiesa or whatever.
Come on, B. You got more eyeballs on you. You got more people interested in the
headlining pay-per-view.
Don't be silly and shit. Come on, motherfucker's name was on a billboard and stuff. Get real, man.
All right, let's talk about the co-main event, or should I say the Mighty Wizbar? Is that what
Mighty Wizbar? People aren't having it though. Everyone wants it to be the Mousetrap.
The Mousetrap is just so much better, but apparently there's another submission that we don't know what it is that's called the Mousetrap. So I think
you gotta respect that.
Sure,
I think you gotta respect that. But it's also on Mighty to nail that, to show it. You can't just say that it exists. You gotta hit someone with it so you can be like, that's the Mousetrap.
But I find it hilarious how Demetrius has named all of these, or had these named for years and years, and no one knows about them.
He's a nerd. He's a video game nerd. In his gym, he spends hours of training. Of course, he has names for all of his little moves. He probably has they're probably named after like Tekken and weird, video games from the early 2000s.
Yeah, whatever. Anyways, though, to me, you start mentioning video games, even early 2000s. I'm like, I was watching Bob the Builder back then. But anyways, okay, so Demetrius Johnson, pound for pound king, maybe the greatest of all time. This guy's fantastic. He goes out there, dominates Ray Borg, then pulls off one of the best submissions in the promotion's history. He pulls off the Mighty Wizbar. It was almost a suplex to armbar. I know it was Ben Askren out there saying, "Oh, get your terminology right. It wasn't suplex," but whatever. We're not top-notch wrestlers. We'll call it a suplex to armbar, or a variation of it.
When you have your arms around a man's waist and you heave him over your shoulder in any way, you're calling it a suplex. Close enough. Close enough, guys.
Yeah.
Relax.
So it was fantastic. Demetrius Johnson fights go like this. He's dominating from first bell to last bell, but there's a moment, one moment we don't know if he's going to go to the judges or if he'll somehow finish, and then all of a sudden it's over. It's like that snap of your fingers and it's done. He's so quick. He's just fantastic. And Ray Borg didn't really have much of a chance here. I give Borg props. He's super tough, even hanging on in that submission as long as he did. That's that takes a lot of heart, a lot of grit, a lot of toughness. He survived almost 5 rounds. He was able to take DJ down. He seemed pretty strong in there, but ultimately, skill for skill, DJ just so much better. And at this point in time, he broke the title defense record. We didn't even mention that. Consecutive title defenses and total defenses.
All right, what did you think about Joe Rogan's little send-off at the end? Was that emotional? I got emotional. Was I just drunk? I thought that was a touching moment in the sport.
What do you mean a send-off? The entire interview, or? Yeah,
no, the last thing he said to him, before.
I don't know.
He was like, you didn't even, that wasn't a moment of note in your head. You didn't even remember Joe Rogan. Because he said some heartfelt shit. And even John Anik was like, Joe Rogan, you're giving me chills out there. Or maybe it was DC.
I was watching on a stream and it probably froze at that time or something.
I love the honesty of it. You're like, yeah, so yeah, I missed that. Well, it was heartfelt. You should go by and check it out. Or if the UFC hasn't, they should post that.
They should.
Yeah. Anything else in this card? I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff that happened.
The one thing about DJ you say is his interview.
Yeah,
the greatest fighter of all time.
I mean, you seem to cover it. We've seemed to cover this. We all know what my opinion is. I love watching Demetrius Johnson school on people. I thought that Ray Borg was admirable and tough, but inexperienced and young, and there's nothing wrong with that. And there's nothing, that's not bad mouthing Ray Borg. I think he had one of the better performances against Demetrius and brought the best part of his game out. He didn't pull the trigger in a lot of situations, but I don't think DJ's not giving you opportunities to pull the trigger. He just manages the fight so well, it's impossible to implement a game plan against him, and that's probably his greatest strength. It was a masterclass in MMA again from Demetrius Johnson. Yeah. I'm glad he makes a decent paycheck too. I saw the disclosed pay. You got to figure there's a little bit more dollars in there too.
Well, he got pay-per-view points, so $370 I think it was plus pay-per-view points. There you go. That's
a good chunk of change if you make it 3 times a year. You know what I mean?
Considering Tony Ferguson walked away with 500, 250, 250. I mean, come on. Tony Ferguson.
This is the world we're living in. This is the world we're living in.
Is walking away with more than DJ, but
hey, man, it is how it is. I bet that's how it actually rolls too. Yeah. Tony probably does bring in more dollars.
So I will be
listen. Fuck things that are popular. Popular shit isn't always good. That's what you'll learn in life. All the shit that's popular it basically sucks. Demetrius Johnson, he's too good to be popular. It's okay.
All right. So the rest of the card I didn't actually catch. I was doing Thanksgiving dinner. 1 month early because we're in Canada. I guess the thing with that is that they don't want Thanksgiving dinner like Christmas, where it's in the middle of the snow, it's -40. So we get a bit of leeway. We get a month early. So I didn't watch anything else.
It's a harvest holiday, It's supposed to be around the harvest time. In Canada, the harvest ain't happening November 25th.
It's really bad if it's snowing on Thanksgiving. Then it's a bad winter. Verdum, I heard looked good. Quick submission. I was Darius Dunham. I don't know what happened. It was a draw. We had 2 draws. That was crazy. Apparently, Venata Green was fantastic. Little surprised to see Cody Stamen get past Tom Duquesnoy. That I know
that disappointed me.
You had some money on Duquesnoy, I saw.
When they called that split decision, I got so hopeful that I was about to get a robbery, but wasn't meant to be.
And the only other thing I want to mention is John Moraga knocking out Magomed Bibulatov. That was really surprising. Take it away. You watched the card.
Oh my god!
I assume.
Okay, I mean, we don't have to talk about then everything on the card. No. What was impressive, a curtain jerker was actually Brad Tavares beat the shit out of Tyus Ladies. Like, it was not close. It was a just shellacking. He straight gave it. He almost got that finish. I wouldn't have been mad at a stoppage there. Lando Venata and Bobby Green, that draw was insane. I was happy this got fight of the night because this is really like a classic, Rock'em Sock'em Robots. But it was a lot funner than that because it really was full of personality and a lot of like great grit and huge swings. It was good. I was fine with the draw. They were fine with the draw. Clearly, that was a really, really awesome fight. A fight that went to a draw that was actually more bizarre was the Dariush Evan Dunham. This is the 2 fights went to a draw on this card, right, Nicholas?
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of good stuff that happened. We don't have to talk about it. What's going on besides this card? We got a lot of things coming on. There's like 4 major cards this weekend, but nothing from the UFC.
4 major cards. We got Rizin. What else?
Glory Kickboxing. We're gonna sacrifice the life of Bigfoot Silva to the.
Oh no!
I know that's like everyone's reaction when you hear it. You're like, "That's this weekend." No. There's one of the big cards is I think it's LFA. There's something else.
That's not
there's
a
only
major
3
card.
things. Yeah, no.
Don't fool yourself. We got 1 major card and it's Rizin. Before
are you excited for Rizin? Oh, okay.
Honestly, I looked at the card and not as much as usual. There's not.
It's missing a great freak show element.
Well, it's missing a main event too.
Basically.
I mean, Rina and Andy Nguyen. I mean,
how are you gonna sell that
hardcore Japanese fan? Maybe
if you've been watching Rizin, you know that she's been in all the major fights. They're pushing her. Yeah. They're pushing her. She's good looking. It's the first round of that atomweight tournament for women too. You know.
Yeah,
that's what this is all. This is all setting up the tournament. There's an atomweight tournament for women going on. There's 4 fights in that one, right? And there is the other 3 fights in the bantamweight Grand Prix.
Like the lineup for Rizin is sort of how it should be, how UFC is, you know, big fight, main event, important title fight, blah blah blah, Grand Prix, whatever. Rizin's not supposed to be like that. It's supposed to
it's supposed to be freak show. Well, what was really great was we were going to have Dan Hendo against Sakuraba in a grappling match, but because it's a grappling match, it's still not as like compelling. So I need something like a Baruto fight in here somewhere.
Well, Gabby Garcia at the very least. Come on.
Now you get what I'm saying. Well, we do have tension. And have you been watching?
Yes, tension's great. Yeah,
he knocks dudes out. I think he's in some of these weird hybrid fight. Like,
but it's not a freak show. You know, it's a really high profile. Good fight.
It's just a Japanese prospect who could throw down a little bit. It's it's a good time. It's worth the laugh. But there isn't like there's no great hook in this except for Sakuraba against Frank Shamrock.
Exactly. So one of the weaker Rizin cards, but Rizin as a whole in general is always fun. I'll probably actually skip about the first half and wake up for the last few.
That's a smart tactic this time.
That do matter. So that's really all I got on Rizin. I mean, if this was a bit better of a card, I'd probably talk about it a bit more, but there's nothing else I want to add. Let's talk about Bellator 184 real quick. Probably won't spend a whole lot of time. Pretty good card. Darren Caldwell defeats Eduardo Dantas by decision in the main event to claim the bantamweight title. A bit of a snoozer fight. Caldwell pretty close on the feet. I think Dantas probably got the better of him, but Caldwell was able to get him down numerous times and sort of did what Darren Caldwell does with, lacking the excitement we saw in his finish of Joe Warren and a little bit like the Joe Tum Glow fight maybe. Big surprise, Emmanuel Sanchez triangle choked Daniel Strauss in the 3rd round, a former champion. So Sanchez probably might be next in line for a title shot. I wouldn't be surprised. I guess Patricio Pitbull's fighting Daniel Weichel next, but Sanchez maybe the winner, maybe one more. Maybe they do Sanchez versus Pat Curran, who got back in the winning column on this card. Leandro Higo, Joe Tom, and Glow. Overall, good card. The one that really stood out, though, was, as I said, Sanchez and Strauss.
Did Sanchez get the finish late in that fight? Yes.
Late, 3rd round. I don't know exactly when, but 3rd round, late enough.
Sure. I don't know. Like, this is like one of Bellator light cards. You know what I mean? There's like Bellator heavy when the stars come out, and then there's these off, site cards that happen on Oklahoma in some weird casino.
Well, I mean, it's a big hardcore card. We had good fights, good matchups, title fight, but it wasn't.
You were telling me this. Show. Yeah, you were telling me this earlier, and I was like, I'm DVRing. You were like, we got a good Bellator card. And I was like, nah, I'm DVRing it and like fast forwarding through most of it.
And that's what I did.
Come on, man.
Only because I had 4 straight Thanksgiving dinners.
I mean, you got to do what you got to do, kid.
Exactly. All right. So that.
But Derek, I thought that the title fight was really good. Actually, I thought that was the best. Yeah, I thought that was.
Well, actually, the DVR didn't work, so I missed the last round and a half.
I liked. You got to record the show after it. You haven't learned this yet. How you?
No, it gives me the option to extend it. I extended it by half an hour, and it still didn't work.
You never do that, dude. You're not listening. You got to record the show afterwards. I'm telling you.
All right.
Come on, like it's 2017. Figure out how shit works out. But yeah, I like that Dantas cheated a bunch and like didn't get reprimanded for it. That was awesome.
Hold on, say that again.
He kept grabbing the fence,
Oh, Dantas did.
Yeah, I thought that was awesome. It was a great example of how to cheat.
Sure, props to Dantas. Why not?
Yeah, always cheat in MMA. It was a great example of that. That's how this card should be remembered. Cheat properly in MMA.
and lose clearly. Lose
Well, you know, it made it close. He made it really close, you know. So think about how badly he would have lost if he didn't grab the cage all those times.
Well, a big fight was announced. We have the UFC featherweight champion Max Holloway defending against the aforementioned Frankie Edgar at UFC 218, main event of the Detroit card, early December. This is sort of what we were all expecting. It's been in the works for a while. I think what they had to get past, the sort of block, what was stopping this from being booked earlier was Holloway wanted a new contract. So it sounds like his team at Sucker Punch got the new contract. He's happy. So good for him. He deserves it. This is a fun fight. But in 2017, I'm pretty confident Max Holloway gets it done.
Yeah, right. You got to believe in when you watch
the blessed era, you got to believe in it.
You got to believe in the blessed era. If you see what he did to Jose Aldo, and you know just what level Jose's on, you wonder if the wrestling game will give Frankie the edge. That's basically what you wonder, and that's what this fight will answer. That's why this is a great title reign, man. You gotta love the Max Holloway tour. I'd love for him to fight all these great fights at 145. God, imagine if he got that Conor fight again. I think that's an interesting and compelling fight. As much as other people don't, I think that's a very, very compelling fight.
Yeah. The only thing with that is that Holloway has already talked about maybe fighting him again at 155, but Holloway isn't a big featherweight compared to others. I mean, featherweight is his home, and I think as he ages, once he hits 30, maybe he retires at lightweight. But
you're talking like a person who never saw BJ Penn in his prime. You don't know about the spirit of Hawaii in defeating the larger man.
And surprisingly,
just squabbling.
And unsurprisingly, that's probably accurate. The first time
you ever watched BJ Penn fight was him getting the third beating from Frankie Edgar. Yes. Not even the second, the third beating. Oh, no.
It was bad.
How depressing. The first time you ever watched BJ Penn. You've only watched depressing ass BJ Penn shit.
Yeah. So he's
fought, my God, that's awful.
So who's fought since then? Edgar, Seaver, and Rodriguez. Damn.
Yeah. The most depressing one being Dennis Seaver, because I thought we were like, it's BJ Penn. He's going to fight Dennis Seaver. He'll just like punch him in the face and knock him out. And it didn't happen. It was very depressing. Where we
actually thought BJ would win, and he still didn't.
It's tough. I thought BJ might beat Yair Rodriguez. I tricked myself into thinking that.
Yeah, that was more so just wishful thinking. Wanting a legend to come out on top of, but
one more time,
yeah, not gonna happen.
Anyway, but Max Holloway, Frankie Edgar, that's what we're talking about in Detroit. I like this fight. Why is it happening in Detroit? Why are we doing fucking pay-per-views in Detroit? This is weird. It doesn't make any sense, but it's a good, compelling card.
Well, especially when Ferguson Lee was 2 months before.
I'm not sure if it's a very successful card though. I see this maybe doing like 200. Yeah,
250, 200.
Yeah, so it's a card for us. It's a card for the hardcores. But if you're doing hardcore card, like, why the fuck are we going to Detroit again? It makes no sense. Like, let's do something big. Do it in Jersey, like, Tom's River, or Frankie. Do it in Hawaii. Figure that all shit out. But Detroit makes no sense. It just seems like a contract obligation.
But it's a good card. Overeem Ngannou, Alvarez Gaethje, which I really, really wish was the winner.
Okay, let's play this game. Let's play this game. No card ever makes it to its thing. Out of the 4 major fights announced, which one are you willing to sacrifice the MMA gods so the other 3 may survive? So there's Ngannou, and there, yes, right away without hesitation, he's Cejudo. Who gives a shit about the flyweights, right?
Well, no, I love the flyweights.
Then why'd you pick?
Because I just don't care as much, maybe. I mean, maybe that's the casual fan in me. Maybe, maybe you can't argue when people say, don't give a shit about the flyweights.
There it is.
There kind of is some truth. I mean, we know it. We don't want to believe it, but there is a bit of truth. But not particularly here. But, 3 huge fights.
So disappointed in you.
Holloway, Edgar, Overeem Ngannou, Alvarez Gaethje. Those are top fights in the.
They're hard to deny, and I really like Cejudo. That is like one of my.
And the best one, Gaethje Alvarez all day.
Ooh, that is the fire one, right? But I'm worried that Alvarez might just crack and just,
I think he might.
He got beat the fuck up in that Connor fight. And how long ago was it? It feels like it's been a while.
Well, it'll be over a year.
Long enough. Will it? Okay. Makes me feel a little bit better about his ability to take a shot.
Yeah. Anyways, let's move on. Let's talk about the natural-born killer, Carlos Condit, finally coming back. We talked about it, I want to say 2 weeks ago. Condit, we did it really quickly. Gets it, doesn't get it. Condit.
So basically, no one thought that Carlos Condit was actually going to retire. When he retired, we were just like, over under how many years? How long did he make it in retirement? How long has it been since his last
August 2016?
Well,
he never formally retired, so you can't.
Good.
No, he never said I'm retired. We just sort of assumed because it'd been so long, and he usually likes to fight. But I think he opened up a coffee business. I saw in his time off. He did something else. Yes. But he's coming back. UFC 219, end of the year, December 30th, Vegas 219 against Neil Magny.
Why does everyone in Albuquerque have a coffee business? That's my major thought. It seems like everyone, like, in that area, they're like, hey, I have a coffee business.
Or you have a barbershop called Classic Barbershop.
There you go. Shout out to Classic Barbershop.
Sponsor us again, please.
I love the desperation pitch. That makes me happy.
Please.
We need it. What was your question?
What are your thoughts?
Carlos Condit coming back? It's great. I can't believe they've put him up with Neil Magny. That's the funniest thing out of all of this, right? They're just like sacrifice Neil Magny to the wolves at this point. Neil Magny had that amazing streak, and then he just one quick loss, and it snowballed out of control for him.
Well, it's because he's fought top guys. I mean, it all ended with Nehemiah. He got back into winning column, a few straight wins, but then he met someone, and then RDA.
Yeah.
Who was the someone before RDA?
I forget. I thought it was
Lorenz Larkin.
Larkin, that makes good sense. Yeah.
So Larkin, RDA, Maya, now Carlos Condit, all top guys. He's beat some of the best: Gastelum, Hector Lombard, Johny Hendricks. But this is sort of the best of the best. If Carlos Condit, unless he's completely done, he should walk all over Neil Magny, I think.
Can Neil Magny take this? Yeah, he can take this second loss and stay in the UFC, right?
Oh, of course. I'm not worried about Neil Magny getting cut quite yet.
I hope Neil Magny stacked up money. I feel like his UFC career is on the downslope.
I don't think he's far or close to getting cut, but I don't think he'll ever be top 5 again.
They're going to feed him to young wolves now forever.
Yeah, it's they're going
to offer him a late replacement fight after this one against some murderer. You know what I mean?
Well, it worked out when they gave him Eric Silva on short notice, but Carlos Condit is sort of the old warrior. He's not a young warrior, but he's still a savage if he shows up, and if he's mentally he's all there, physically he's good, no injuries, ready.
Neil Magny's gonna have size on him, right? He's gonna have reach and size, but
probably.
Condit doesn't have assassin on the inside. He's just gonna take angles and just it's gonna be destruction. If this isn't a KO of the night, I'm just envisioning this. Go put money on whatever price it is on Carlos Condit by knockout. Do yourself a favor.
Yeah, sort of thinking the same thing. The only concern, as I said, is the layoff. The layoff. He's been out. He doesn't. There was a time he never.
It's going to be a Jackson-Wink John sparring Russian dudes, full blast. Fighting Cowboy Cerrone, full blast.
Sparring Johny Hendricks.
Yeah,
that's another thing we'll talk
about. When I heard Johny Hendricks is going to Jackson-Wink John, I was like, oh my god, poor Johnny's not going to be one long for this one.
Well, this is a good segue. Let's talk about Big Rig a little bit, just briefly. So he is headed to Jackson-Wink. He started training there pretty recently ahead of his fight. Paulo Borochinha. That's a weird fight because it's a fight skill-wise he should win, but he probably won't. He'll probably
better wrestle.
Murdered.
He better wrestle. He better just wrestle. He better figure out just how to wrestle because that kid is going to thump him. If he gets hit, he'll go just straight out. Remember, Johny Hendricks kind of made his name knocking out John Fitch. It was during the Brock Lesnar against Alistair Overeem card years ago. Were you an MMA person back then?
The first fight I remember
Brock Lesnar
against
Overeem. Oh my god! So on that card, in the undercard, Johny Hendricks knocked out John Fitch.
Okay.
And that's kind of how he made his name. And he just ran at him and blasted him. I'm thinking that exact same thing could happen, but this time to Johny Hendricks in this one. Johnny will have to wrestle.
When you're getting knocked out by Tim Boesch, we have a problem.
No, Tim Boesch's been knocking people out for decades, man. Come on, don't be dissing Tim Boesch on this program. God damn it.
He got finished by Ed Herman.
Okay, now beast of a different color.
All right. Quick note. My sister.
By the way,
if you
type Tim Boesch into Google, just real quick, the name that gets closely associated with the suggestion is Johny Hendricks. So that GIF has been around the way.
The quick note I was going to add before you interrupted me, like you often do. My sister just texted me. She must be watching, or my mom is in their same car, whatever. She says Andrew Lawrence sounds like a YouTuber I know. LOL. So you got that teenage girl fame or something?
A YouTube rhino?
I have no idea.
I don't know what that means.
She'll.
Yeah, explain that one.
Maybe you Rhino. What do you? I know. No. Sounds like a YouTuber I know.
I thought she was calling me a rhinoceros. I was like, what the fuck?
No.
I'm not a YouTuber, you know. Unless you know this YouTuber.
Well, this counts, kind of.
Yeah, in a way, you are a YouTuber, I know.
I suppose. Okay, back to Hendricks. Good thing that he's at Jackson's, right? Big,
No, terrible thing. That's a terrible thing.
Terrible.
He's gonna get knocked. Yeah, he's gonna get knocked unconscious regularly.
Well, I hope not. I hope Carlos Condit won't, eat him for breakfast. But I think it's a good move. I mean, where was he before this? After Team Takedown closed, where was he? His mom's garage, in his RV. Like, seriously, where was he training?
At least you're right. He's going to have to sharpen his knife or he's not going to make it there. And he's a good fighter. He's a great fighter. He's a goddamn former UFC champion. He's really going to find himself again. I think you saw his hit Johny Hendricks pretty hard. I think his discipline and his will to do this isn't big, but the paychecks still are pretty big, and he's still probably selling a few tickets. So, he's stuck in a predicament that I think happens to a lot of fighters.
I mean, when you can only beat Hector Lombard over the course of so many years, and Hector Lombard's getting KO'd left and right, there's a problem and nothing's going right for you. You might as well try something new. You might as well change everything up, move camps, train with different people, train with different coaches. I mean, it's probably going to help. Usually,
I see Jackson-Wink right now with just tons of young, hungry dudes out there sparring. People are going to be looking to make a name. People are going to be out there doing vicious stuff. I think that Johny Hendricks probably likes sparring, so he'd wade in those waters, and he's just going to take some lumps, man, from like the next hungry generation coming up. Yeah, I think that I don't know. He probably. Maybe he's doing it smarter, and I'm not giving him credit for it. But I'm thinking maybe he should have his own coaches and be doing his own thing, and go to another camp, but like have your coaching staff focused on you, and spend a little bit of money into this camp. He probably makes $100,000 for a fight, so spend a couple grand on reviving your career and your ability to do this.
I think change is good. I think, a big facelift of everything is good. I mean, it's a test. We won't know for sure until he fights Borocina next month.
And is he going to make fucking weight? He weighed in at 188 pounds. He's already gone up a weight class, and he's missing weight at that weight class. That's obnoxious.
Imagine John Jones versus Johny Hendricks.
That'd be awesome.
I'd
pay money for that spot.
Only in Rizin when Johny Hendricks cannot.
Exactly. See, that's why the UFC's ruined the spirit of MMA. The true spirit of MMA, the true spirit of a show like Rizin is the question: what if? What if we let Johny Hendricks fight goddamn John Bones Jones? We all want to see it, so put it on there, man. Come on. Oh, a big, tall, long, lengthy guy in a squat, dude. Come on, man.
All right, so the last thing I want to talk about before we get to Gets It, Doesn't Get It, and dumb questions, and we're out of here, is Ian Uncle Creepy McCall. So Ian McCall announced in an interview with ESPN that he wants $100,000 to fight. He had a contract that was much less than that with the UFC. He had one fight left on it before he would be a free agent. He did not want to take that one more fight, and even if he wanted to be for $60K. Are you chanting?
Rizin, baby.
Are you chanting Ramzan Kadyrov?
No, I'm chanting Rizin.
Okay, good. Jeez.
Why would I be chanting Ramzan?
Well, I mean, we're about to touch on Kadyrov, but anyways, so Ian McCall wants 100K, and then the following day, which was yesterday, on the MMA Hour
dictators
with Ariel Helwani, he revealed his contract's over. He is now a free agent. He's open to sign with anybody, and he said in that ESPN interview a couple days ago that he is willing to fight for Ramzan Kadyrov's MMA promotion, Octagon MMA in Chechnya, Russia, for, quote, blood money, end quote. This is disgusting.
I mean,
but it's something that's probably a lot more
this?
common. It's something a lot more common than we think. Fighters just want to get paid. They don't give a shit if they're fighting for one of the most evil people on the planet, or if they're fighting for Dana White or Ray Sefton.
Don't worry, they already are. Like, who do you think the Fertitta brothers are? You know what I mean?
Well,
who do you? I mean, there is a difference. There is a difference, but like,
we can joke what we want, but you damn right know there's a difference between Ramzan Kadyrov, who's killing gay people in his country.
Yes, there is a difference in that one is involved in genocide. Yes, one is involved in genocide,
and one's just not a super nice man who does bad business or.
No, not really. I mean, like, we're talking about money that, like the Fertittas took their money, in criminal enterprise, in gambling. This is where the wealth was built up from. Now, granted, they do something different now because of, how the economics of being
let's not compare.
Change. But combat sports is invested. But my point is that combat sports is like deeply invested in blood money. Without blood money, combat sports doesn't happen.
Okay,
so like
blood
the
money
idea that
from a gambler or whoever got rich off gambling. Okay, sure.
What about like a dude from Tough? What's his name? The I Just Want to Bang Bro. He went over and fought for Azam Kadir.
Yeah, and it's not good.
Okay, but we didn't mention that and do like a whole segment on it. There's people. I mean,
because
right now,
not as high profile.
Fabricio Verdum, UFC champion, has tweeting pictures with them and chilling with them.
And we're about to touch on that, and gets it, doesn't get it.
Okay. Well, but that's been happening for years. So, I mean, he's just saying that he would do it.
It's all of our ignorance, because we didn't know who Kadyrov was until Kareem Zidane started reporting, or HBO Real Sports, or we knew but we didn't care, or we didn't know enough.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. So we are starting to become more aware of who Kadyrov is, but if you're fighting for him, I mean, just don't do it.
Yeah, you're kind of an asshole.
But, that's why your whole tweet about John Moraga knocking out Bibliatov for in the name of human rights. I mean, that's why you do that, because fighting for Kadyrov's not a good thing, and never mind being his babysitter or whatever. Yeah, kid's babysitter, trainer. So.
I don't know. I agree with all these things, and I'm 100% with you. And
you still,
I'm still just no. What I'm shocked about is like that there would be outrage that a fighter would take money from, from a criminal, like even a homicidal maniac. It's like, yeah, like I believe that 100%. I think that that's very likely to happen.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my first point was that after saying what had happened was this is probably something that happens a lot more than we think, or people are
or
willing.
Has happened in combat sports since combat sports has been invented. That's that's my point. Like, this is the shadiest of all businesses.
The only difference is that fighters from Chechnya don't really have a choice. They're they kind of have to become known. Akhmat is one of their only options, but we'll talk about that later. That doesn't really matter. So that's it for Uncle Creepy. I mean, I really hope he gets paid, but I hope it's not from Ramzan Kadyrov. That's sort of what I'm getting at.
Go to Rizin, baby. The Gucci Man needs a fight after the tournament happens. Take a fight in between it. If you win that fight, you can get the Gucci Man fight for 100K. You know that Saki Bar will make it happen. Give him a phone call, baby.
Never thought about it, but that's a fantastic idea.
You never think about that. It's like the only thing. It's the only thing to do. All right, let's get it. Doesn't get it. We only got 10 minutes left in the show. All right, people. This is Gets It, Doesn't Get It. If you haven't seen the show before, I pick a person or thing or an event or just something that's happening in MMA, and we decided if that person gets it or if they do not get it. First up, Nick, Fabricio Verdum for sticking with this boy, Razam. What do you think?
Just terrible. I mean,
you're just softball pitching him at this point. Come on, doesn't get it. We all know this is a scumbag move. It was a gross thing to stick around with, and to just separate yourself from the politics of something is one thing, but when that politics involves, the killing of, people just because of their sexual orientation, and we're talking about thousands of people. It's morally irreprehensible in a sport that is devoid of morals. So
it's just so ignorant of Verdum to compare his political views and his MMA views so different. I'll only attach myself to his MMA side and not political. I mean, it's not even political at this point. It's just being a goddamn
human,
terrible human being. Kadyrov is. But again, big doesn't get it, goes to Fabricio Verdum.
Yeah, and in another geez, man, the next one's here. You just are lining up right now, people who just don't get it. Johnny Jason over the weekend caught at a house party in Brazil, basically knocking out a woman, knocking her to the floor, raining down punches on top of her, having to be pulled off, looking basically like an insane human.
And reportedly, it was his own goddamn sister. So, Julia, my sister, if you're watching,
oh my God.
Just don't call me a terrible brother.
Doesn't get it. Okay, yes. Next. Jesus Christ, Honey Jason. I used to like Honey Jason. Scott Holtzman, for his tweet about Kevin Lee, he said fans would complain if Lee fought with staff, or they would have complained just as much if he had pulled out before the fight.
Yeah,
and they would have complained more.
Probably.
Like in MMA. This is what it is, man. This is what it is.
But
sorry.
Scott Holtzman gets it. A good tweet. I mean, it's so true. Sometimes you don't think about it, but we would have, or fans would have, Kevin Lee's a pussy. He pulled out. Oh, Kevin Lee's disgusting. He fought with staff. It's like, one or the other, guys. But MMA fans.
I think Hot Sauce Holtzman has just got himself like a 6-month ban or 3-month ban and a fine for using an IV.
You're thinking Kurt Hollabaugh.
Jesus Christ. The old memory. All right, next up. Bud Light UFC new beer. It's Negla Modelo. Modelo is the new official beer of the UFC. Feeling Latin? Have you ever seen a Modelo?
No, I've never heard of it.
Wow. Okay, yeah. So it's like a Mexican beer. They actually make a dark lager they call it Negla Modelo, which
So who gets it here? Who do you think gets it here?
I think the UFC gets it because they probably got paid a lot more money than Bud Light was thrown out.
Really?
Yeah, you don't move off of blue chip Bud Light, Anheuser-Busch for less money. You're taking a lot of money to go with the smaller guy. I mean, the people paying big money for combat sports advertising is like, Corona, Tecate, and I think Modelo here was like, I want to get into that market. I'm seeing an opportunity here, and I can get all the UFC rings. Tons of Latin people, watch fighting, boom, boom, boom. Latin people, Mexican people.
I think also the new beer company gets it. I mean, because they're not as familiar maybe to Canadians or.
Nah, this is a dying sport for dumb people. This is not. You don't want to associate your brand with us. You don't get it.
Well, I guess that's what we talked about with the TV deal.
All right. Whoa, Andrew Lawrence, in the name of human rights for my Moraga against Bivolotov tweet. How did I get on Gets It Doesn't Get It? So what do you think? Do I get it? I don't know. Do I not get it?
I saw the tweet. You sent it out from Middle Easy. Maybe it's probably someone else from Middle Easy. I can't.
I definitely tweeted that out.
But it was a fantastic tweet. It was a video or something of the Moraga KOing Bivolotov, and in the name of human rights, and it, just obviously referring to the Kadyrov stuff. Fantastic stuff. I bow down to you, good sir.
Thank you. The UFC for pulling Mark Hunt from this upcoming fight. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean,
this just happened. So this just happened. Mark Hunt was supposed to fight Marcin
I love how
Tybura.
you've taken this, and if you just shoestringed it to like breaking news, you shoestring the whole point of this gimmick. I gotta edit these from now on. You're a mess, goddammit, Nicholas.
No, we don't edit the show; it's live. But anyways, Hunt did a big article. He wrote it himself, or maybe it was a ghostwriter, more likely. Nonetheless, he talked about slurring and different brain issues and just sort of brain trauma in general. And due to medical concerns, the UFC pulled him, and Fabricio Verdum's in. So I think the UFC gets it because you have to be very concerned. I mean, the guy's 40 years older or something like that. He's been KO'd a couple times, not as much, but still taking a lot of hits to the head, a lot of damage. So I think it's smart when you have a guy, talking about it publicly. You have to, watch him. Maybe not right away pull him, but definitely keep your eye out for him. But also, I mean, Hunt, his response on Instagram, I can sort of agree with as well. He's not happy, calling Dana White a bald-headed prick and all of that, and says he's gonna, file another lawsuit. So that's great. So I think UFC and Mark Hunt get it.
It's smart, yeah. Always be in lawsuits with your promoter. That's a key part in combat sports.
In a good relationship.
Any good relationship involves 2 or 3 lawsuits.
That's great.
All right, so you ready for the dumb questions?
I have one more doesn't get it, I think, but I do not.
I don't care about it. I don't care to hear
it. It is. Yeah, I know. All right, dumb questions. Do it again.
Dumb questions. All right. First one's from .yo. You can catch them on Twitter @_whiskey sour.
They're all actually from Whiskey Sour.
All right, there it is. Shout out to our man at Whiskey Sour. First question: snapbacks, flex fits, fitted caps, or sporting that receding hairline? And he gives a shout out to Lance Fishel and the man himself, Super Sartor. What do you know what they're talking about here?
Oh, I mostly. What is a flex fit?
A flex fit it's not quite a fitted cap, but it's a little stretchy around the edges.
All right. Well, still don't really know what that is. I'll go with the fitted cap.
Yeah, I think. But balding people, I want to encourage you. Definitely be rocking your receding hairline. It's okay. You're just out there. You're balding. I'm clearly not balding. I have tons and tons of hair. I'm never going to go bald. Nicholas, you're probably going to go bald.
Thanks.
But when it happens, just embrace it. Just embrace hair loss. Just it's what people are intended to look like.
Yeah, look at Dana White. Everybody loves him and his bald head.
No, that's taking it too far. Don't be shaming the whole thing. Jesus Christ. Have some dignity. Right. Keep this back.
Next question also from Whiskey Sour. That's the last time I'll say that. He says, who first dropped the hashtag dumb questions for your show?
Oh my God.
That's actually a really good question. I don't remember.
No research.
When we transitioned from MMA Junior Radio to the MMA Circus, went on Bloody Elbow for the first time, we started doing listener questions. And I think like an episode or two later, it just became dumb questions because the first listener questions were super dumb. And we just said, oh, let's make a whole segment on it. So I don't remember who exactly coined it, though.
I think I coined it because
Because you're the creative bastard and you take all the credit for everything.
Well, yeah. I mean, it just would make sense that I would come up with the smart, a little like clever gimmick.
The smart ideas.
Yeah, the good stuff is usually over on this side. You know what I mean?
All the bad ideas over here.
Yeah, you know how it goes.
All right. Go ahead.
All right. Would you rather A, listen to a 2-hour podcast by Colby Covington, or B, watch Gonzaga versus Arokin 3 times in a row? Now, that was maybe the worst heavyweight fight in the history of humanity. It was 15 minutes of just pressing against the fence and nonsense.
I'm definitely going Colby Covington. I mean, I'm
Colby Covington, man. Yeah.
He's not a good shit talker, but he's dull. He's bearable.
For 2 hours, I'm definitely going to be annoyed.
Gonzaga or Rokin.
My thing is that's 45 minutes. And then if you have to watch like them come out to the cage and all that stuff, like, does Joe Rogan say any funny stuff during it? Because if Joe Rogan says some funny stuff, I might watch it.
What about a fight companion watching the fight? Colby Covington's the fight companion.
I guess. No.
That's just torture.
Yeah, that's now. I feel like I'm doing 2 terrible things at that point.
But
no, I'm going with Colby Covington with the 2-hour podcast.
Same. All right, last question. President commentator tag team match. White Anik versus Coker Smith. Jimmy Smith. Who do you got?
Oh, my God. Oh, okay. So he's proposing there's a tag team MMA match between.
We get it.
Well, I'm digesting it still. God damn it. Scott Coker and Jimmy Smith and Dana White. And okay, so here's the thing. Jimmy Smith has to take on, has to cancel out and neutralize because I think he could beat up Joe Rogan, maybe. Jimmy Smith. But can Scott Coker beat Dana White? I feel like Dana White pounds poor Scott Coker.
Yeah.
And then it's 2-on-1, and Dana's a little roided up, and But I guess it's tag team match, so and anything could happen. It depends on how we want to script it.
I'm thinking Dana White and Jimmy Smith are the final two survivors, and I think Dana White just sits on top of Jimmy Smith. So I guess give me White and Anik.
His fat head. Oh, hold on, it's Anik and who? It's Dana. Anik and White. Oh, then they're fucked. And they're fucked. Jimmy Smith and Scott Coker get them both.
All right. Well, that is it for episode 132 of the MMA Circus. Thank you guys for listening. If you're watching live here on this beautiful Tuesday evening, or if you're listening on iTunes, Stitcher, Pocket Cast, Google Play, BloodyElbow.com, TuneIn, Player FM, SoundCloud. We're on SoundCloud. Check it out. Or Overcast. I think I covered it all. Thank you for listening. We appreciate it. Andrew, let everybody know where they can find you on social media, where they can find your wonderful, full of integrity. Oh my God! Not even gonna try a third time.
Integrity, brother. And yeah, we are journalistic integrity there at MiddleEasy.com. What I did want to mention also is no, never mind. Come find me on Twitter at the Clown Kid. Find me at MiddleEasy.com. I'm taking over their Twitter on the weekends too. You'll always tell when it's me. Peace out, people.
All right. Again, just a reminder, review, subscribe, like us, favorite us, leave us a review. We read them all. We appreciate them. If you want
5 stars,
change, 5 stars, of course. And thank you. We appreciate it. Thank you guys for listening. We appreciate every single listen. So again, go like us on SoundCloud, subscribe to our YouTube. So if you want to check out our YouTube channel, you're on it right now. It also has the MMA. Well, yeah, it has the MMA Circus. Also has my interviews and Before the Battle. So go check out all of those as well. We will have a Tony Martin interview talking about his full-time move to Florida up probably tomorrow, it'll be up Thursday of this week. So thank you again for watching, for listening, whatever you're doing. Thank you to the Bloody Elbow. We appreciate it. For Andrew the Clown Kid Lawrence, my name's Nick Baldwin, and we're out.
What up, Sherry?